Now, we all have surveys in our business about customer satisfaction. There's an excellent chance, based on our research, that the thing your customers care about most is nowhere to be found on the satisfaction survey. This gives us an opportunity for improvement. So remember, we're looking at customer desired outcomes, the things they care about most. We can think about service as helping others, and we might have consensus on that. That would be the good news. The bad news is that in practice, when we actually go to people in our own organizations and we ask them, what is a one-word definition for service? What we find that there are over 40 different answers that people will give. What is it? What does servicing mean on a farm? Breeding. It means mating. Now, Tom, I can look at the gray hairs on your head, which exceed the ones on mine, and I know darn well that you just wanted to plead the fifth. You know something, Ardish? I think we need to have a button for Tom, because let me ask you this. Tom, in your organization, have you guys talked in your organization about servicing customers? Is it possible, Tom, that your customers think that's exactly what's happening to them? Because if it is, please, no servicing of customers. Let's give Tom a nice round for sticking his neck out. We all have products, but we don't necessarily think about it that way. If you and your business provide answers, that's a product. If you think about how much of your day you spend producing answers, I'll bet you it's over 85% of your day. In fact, I'll bet you that over 85% of the day of all the professional, most highly paid people in your organization you have produce answers. And yet none of those answers are measured. None of the answers are quantified in terms of the cycle time to produce them. None of the answers are evaluated on quality. And we don't know whether the recipients of the answers get what they wanted. It's a huge area of opportunity that process does not address, but product does. So we want to figure out, what are the products? Well, it turns out there's an organization right here in town where what they did is they invited us in. They said, you know what, we have a strategic plan, and after being exposed to this, we're not quite sure that it's doing the thing we want it to do, and we're not sure we really have the best practices to understand what customers want, but we thought we did before we heard this stuff. Would you take a look at it? We said, sure. So after looking at it and having some discussion, they decided they wanted to have all of their management spend 2 days with us. And during that 2 days, what we did was we revised the strategic plan with their whole management team. We looked at their key performance indicators, which they called a balanced scorecard. And we asked them to start asking 4 new questions. And when they started doing these things, they made these changes. In the first month, what happened is their 300 loans that would have been traditional for them to close in a week went to 700. When people are given loans, they don't necessarily use them. But if they did and the interest rate was lower, they'd benefit and the institution would benefit. And in their case, that's exactly what happened. The 50% close rate, utilization rate, went to 75%. This is after 1 month. The first month's revenue dropping to the bottom line was $8 million by changing these practices. And the customers saved in aggregate millions of dollars in interest over the next year as a result of these new practices. The CEO said, all our performance measures significantly improved during the 6 months after deployment. So to sum up, here's what we could say. If we're using producer-centered thinking, there's an excellent chance we're working like mad on processes, producing products that have wonderful capabilities for customers we have not differentiated, producing outcomes we've neither articulated nor measured. And that would be the future. Other than that, it's a great idea. However, if we used customer-centered thinking, we might start with the outcome in mind first, figure out who exactly are the end users, brokers, and fixers of specific products, what expectations do they have, and now create fast cycle processes so we can grow the business. And I think that's what this is all about, is celebrating the focus on customers.